You are about to witness history in the making.
Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and welcome to another Pop Culture Gamers podcast. This is show number 107. We're on the 21st of February, and I'm here with Steve. Hi, Steve. How are you doing?
Excuse me. That's how I'm doing.
Yeah. Steve's not dying of COVID, though. You'll be glad to know.
Yeah, we can talk about that in a minute. Yeah, I'm surviving.
Surviving.
It's been a bit of a rough week, but yeah, I'm here and alive and well.
Good stuff. So what's been happening with you then?
So I had another couple of days off this week to finish off my holiday. And because my boss didn't want me to take it out in a full whack, so I've been doing dribs and drabs through February. And I went ill just leading up to this 2-day break last week.
Yeah.
Coughing and spluttering, temperature, but the cough was a constant cough. So it'd been that bad that I ended up, whether or not I've damaged a rib or something from coughing that bad, that every time I coughed it sort of hurt. So I had to deal with that. And so I phoned the doctor. They said, you better get a COVID test. You get a COVID test for just anything these days, isn't it? So I wasn't well enough to go and drive to a drive-through. So I went online and I booked a delivery COVID test.
And was that easy enough to do?
Yeah, just went on the .gov website, put your details in. Just followed it through, and it took about a day and a half to arrive on Royal Mail first class delivery. Open it up. Obviously, what I did was there is a video you can watch to tell you how to do it, because you have to post it back on a priority post box, if you know what I mean. All
right. Okay. Yeah.
Because those ones will do more deliveries than a standard post box. So you'll get all that in your head before you do the test. So you do your hands, you lay it all out on the table in the clean area. You put the swab in the back of your mouth near your tonsils as you're gagging without getting it on your tongue or your teeth. And then you stick it up your nose, put it in this liquid, snap it off, close it up, box it up, send it away. I sent it away on a Friday? Was it a Thursday or a Friday? Thursday, because Friday afternoon I got the results back on email and text saying it was negative, and it said, "Here's the code. Can you please?" Because I assume everyone, I hope we're all doing that we're using the app on your phones.
Yeah.
So it gives you a code to put in there to put it in the database, and so I did that. We had a little slight concern this weekend also because my eldest daughter, youngest daughter here, fiance, shall I say, mum went down with COVID. And they've been over to see her. So they went for a test yesterday. They did a drive-through, and that came back today as negative. I'm still not convinced about me, so I did another test with my wife's kits because she's got some 30-minute tests. Still says I'm negative, so I'm, not that I'm trying to get any more time off or anything, but I just want to make sure I'm not going to infect anybody.
Yeah, if anybody's got COVID and wants to help Steve out,
bring it around. So yeah, because did that because it's funny because the day I had during February I hardly ever went out. I went because I worked for holiday for 3 days, worked for 2 days, sort of that sort of mentality, and I had to pop out and go and do some work in Southampton for a morning. So as any time I ever went anywhere and mingle with people, it was just after that I ended up getting the sort of the flu bug or whatever. But that was all right. So I'm going back to work. Well, I'm still been at work last week, but I'm going out tomorrow on a 3 days to do some actual work. Hopefully the fresh air will do me good and be okay, really. Other than that, it's funny because when you order stuff, and you're probably the same, it just everything's on a pre-order. And with the post and the world it all comes in dribs and drabs. Not this time, it all came out bloody once. So even though some stuff, it was all coming from America, and from New Jersey, from New York, and from Brooklyn, or even I think it was scattered around across the American side. And a day here and a day there, it all starts turning up. So Aquaman soundtrack turned up, a 3-album coloured vinyl from Mondo. John Carpenter's Escape from LA. I'm not so hot on the movie, but the score's okay. And John Carpenter's Lost Themes 3 was released, and that turned up as well. Even though I do have Lost Themes 1, which I've never actually owned. Now I've ordered that because it'll be another pressing with it in a coloured vinyl, so that'll be coming at some point. I think it's still stuck in America because I think there's some issues across the world there with power cuts and stuff at the moment. I don't know, in Texas somewhere.
Yeah, Texas been several days, but a few days out with no power, hasn't it, in some areas?
Yeah, because if I go on the tracker, it's been stuck at New Jersey, US for donkeys. It's been there since about the 18th of February, I think. But we'll see. I mean, the actual updates disappeared now because it was telling me about, the issues across the states, but that's gone. So hopefully it'll be en route. What else has been going on? Oh yeah, as you probably remember, I did a Kickstarter for In Search of Darkness, the first horror documentary, about a year ago. And I never got involved with the second one, just due to the time with lack of funds. It just couldn't tie it in right. But they did a flash sale leading up to Valentine's Day. So I picked it up, and I got my digital code come through last night with a few hiccups, but that's now on Vimeo. A 4.5-hour documentary with the Blu-ray and the posters, everything else will come later on in the year, probably be shipped in a week or two.
Nice.
So something else to look forward to do. And Eagle Moss, the Enterprise turned up, and I didn't realize it because I did it on Amazon. It was coming from the States.
Really?
Yeah. So, but none of any of the stuff that I've had come over, touch wood, none of it was taxed. You get that dreaded.
Yeah, you do.
Sort of letter. If it's gone through customs, but they're still taxing it, the postman would give you a grey posted card. But now everything comes through fine. But the Enterprise is pretty cool. I'm well chuffed with that one. Do they do the original in that size?
Yes.
I don't think it's around at the minute, is it? Because I don't think.
Well, the Discovery version of the Enterprise is.
Yeah, but not the TV show.
Not the original series. But to be honest, they're pretty similar. There's not much difference between them other than obviously slightly fancier graphics. Supposed to be the same ship.
But the nacelles are slightly different, I think, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, but it's very cosmetic.
Yeah.
But, in terms of mine now, I've got the C, the first Enterprise, but from the Kelvin timeline, Discovery, and the E, and the small version of the Enterprise from the Discovery. The Discovery timeline.
Right, yeah. But I keep seeing the advert for that Picard Enterprise that you build. It doesn't matter how you look at it, it's not possible.
No.
It's expensive.
Well, it's going to take you 5 years? I thought it was 5 years to get the kit together.
I thought it was a 2-year mission, but hey.
No, I think it's a 5-year mission, to be quite honest.
But you could be dead in 5 years and not finish it.
Exactly. See, this is what turns me off about it, and everyone's about £10 per thing, so that it's going to cost you a couple of £1,000 to put the damn thing together. It's just not worth it. Yeah,
they do like different versions of the deal, so you can get like 50% off if you lump sum it at the beginning or something like that. But no, I think, to be honest, these version of the ships, I think, it'd be great if they are lit up. That'd be pretty cool. Nevertheless, but they are very nice. So yeah, I'm still chuffed with what we got.
Yeah, I mean, they did the DeLorean from Back to the Future recently as well.
Yeah, they did, and I think they've done some others back in the day.
Yeah,
can't remember which ones they were, but yeah, no. Anyway, how about yourself? How are you?
Well, keeping on the Eagle Moss sort of theme, I've got arriving tomorrow my version of the Enterprise 1701A. I actually managed to get it direct from Eagle Moss, though.
Yeah, because it wasn't available then, was it, earlier when I looked at it?
No, but because it was after you said that you'd got it, I thought, I'll just have to have a look, see if it's back on the website, and it was.
Yeah.
So I picked it up.
Bit of damn luck, wasn't it?
Yeah, my back order of the Corsair K95 is also coming tomorrow. which is like the well-lit sort of keyboard. So I'm going to sell my HyperX keyboard to fund that. Still waiting on tenants on my house, unfortunately.
Oh, sorry. I thought, what, the movie I'm thinking? Sorry,
No. My house that's up for rent. First deal fell through. Second one, the woman was waiting for somebody to buy her house, or to commit to buying her house, and we had to put it back on the market because she wouldn't commit, and we couldn't not have it on the market. I mean, just by doing it, we missed out on a potential, because our house went off the market, another one came on, that one's now rented out, and our one's back on the market. Because where it is, there's like 4 houses, or rather 2 flats and 2 houses. Well, one of the houses for rent in the area is a 3-bedroom terraced house. This is like a semi-detached house with front and back garden. The other one doesn't have that, so there's a lot that our one's sort of offering that is not available otherwise. But just it's a quiet time at the moment for renting, unfortunately. And well, we're gonna have something done with it because I can't keep paying out on 2 houses.
Because you want someone to take that load off your feet, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. And also, it's additional stress I don't need at the moment because as you know, my mother-in-law was in hospital. She's out of hospital, but she's had to go into temporary care because she's not quite right. She's not safe to be back at home, because she can't have 24-hour-a-day supervision because my brother-in-law and his wife, who live with her, they both work. So, she needs the care at the moment just to get until she gets herself built back up. So we've got that going on. So that's about it, really. Just as a sort of shout out for our YouTube channel, by the way, I did put something on Facebook and a few people have signed up, but we need another about 21 people to subscribe to our Pop Culture Gamers YouTube channel so that we can actually properly get it named, because at the moment, because of the naming convention requirements with YouTube, you have to have so many before you can actually name your channel, so many subscribers. Otherwise, you get, like Q3498765 or whatever. So if anybody's listening and they wouldn't mind just subscribing, even if you just subscribe for a couple of weeks until we can get the channel named and you then just drop it again, we don't really care about that. But obviously like you to stay on anyway. But this year I'm trying to up the YouTube channel a little bit and make links relevant to what we're doing in the show. So, like trailers to TV shows or movies that we're watching, all of that sort of thing. Just so that, you can get to see if you've not heard of any of the stuff, or, if I'm playing a game, I'll be, any new games I'm playing, I'm trying to record a bit of it and put it on the channel as well. So, so that's where we are, basically. Oh, and I also, going back to what I've been doing, I finally managed to listen to the Picard album as well, the Star Trek Picard album. Yeah. And it sounds absolutely fantastic, as you would expect.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I quite like Jeff Russo as the
excuse me.
As the composer for Star Trek.
Yeah. I like the first one, but I say I'm not so hot on that show for some reason. There we go.
So,
right.
All right. Well, Steve's pulling funny faces on the webcam, so while he's doing that, we'll go on to...
Sorry, I'm looking up a game.
Okay. While he's looking up a game, then, we'll go on to our gaming this week.
No longer a dream, but a reality.
All right, so gaming this week, and... Well, I haven't got much news. Have you got much news that you want to talk about, Steve?
I haven't really heard anything, to be honest. It's kicking around at the minute.
No, it's a bit of a quiet time, really.
Yeah.
Which is quite ironic, considering when you actually look at the new releases and that, there's not that much out either. And normally it's about this time of the year that it starts to ramp up. But if we just quickly go through the new releases, this week we've got Persona 5 Strikers, which I'm sure that this will be the third version of Persona 5 that Steve's going to buy.
No, it's not actually the same game.
Okay.
From all I really know about it, it's not. So Persona 5 Royale was the latest one I picked up, which I'm still playing, believe it or not. But this one, I haven't got a Scooby-Doo what it's about, and that's why you were chatting. I was trying to at least find out what it's about.
Okay, well, Persona 5 Strikers is available for the PC, PS4, and Switch, and that's available from the 23rd of this month. We've got Hellpoint on the Switch, again, available on the 25th. Also available on the 25th is Code Realize Wintertide Miracles. That's available on the Switch. Then there's Riders Republic on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and Stadia. And then Bravery Default 2, which is on the Switch. So have you found out what Persona 5 Strikers is?
No, I haven't got a bloody clue. I'm still looking.
He hasn't got a clue.
Apparently, all I know is crossover. It's a crossover with Dynasty Warriors.
Right, okay. So it's
remember that game?
Yes, it's a sort of like hack and slash sort of game by the sound of it then. So it's an action role-playing game developed by Megaforce and P Studio, published by Atlas. The game's a crossover and is set 6 months after the events of the original Persona 5.
Oh, I'm going to have to get it.
And it follows the Joker and the rest of the Phantom Thieves of Hearts as they investigate a series of mysterious events involving people across Japan. It was released in Japan for Nintendo, Switch, and PlayStation 4 in February 2020, and a worldwide release for consoles is for the 23rd. There you go.
Out now.
Just needed me to look it up for you, Steve.
Huh?
You just needed me to look it up for you.
No, I was looking for a bit more in depth, just other than just 2 lines. But anyway, by the by.
Well, I mean, yeah, looking at it, it does kind of like. Well, I suppose it's a bit in keeping with the original game. It certainly looks like a lot of that imagery.
It does, yeah. So I am playing Persona 5 Royale at the minute. I'm still on my way to go to finish that, even though I'm quite a few hours in. But
I played a few.
I'll pick it up. I'll probably pick it up a bit later when it's a bit cheaper anyway, because there's no need to pick it up yet.
Yeah, I played a bit of Persona 5 and I won't
You ran away, didn't you?
I just did not get on with the game at all. Anyway, let's do Game Pass. Steve, do you want to talk about what's coming on Game Pass or what's leaving?
So, if I could zoom in on that picture you got. So, what we got here, so leaving, we've got Dirt 4. Whether or not that is a good thing, that's on the 24th.
Well, that's because Dirt 5's coming in.
Yeah, because Dirt 5 isn't as bad anyway. Leaving on the 28th of February, we got Momodora, Mother Russia Bleeds. That's on the PC. Oh, these are PC ones here. Oxenfree, Jackbox Party 4. That's on the console. And Vambrace Cold Soul, console and PC. So coming in, sorry, my glasses will not read them.
That's okay. It's terrible. We've got Elite Dangerous. We've got Killer Queen Black, Deadfire Ultimate Edition, Wreckfest, Dirt 5, Super Hot Mind Control Delete, and Code Vein. And
I own Elite, and Dirt 5 hasn't had a bit of bad press, didn't it?
I've lost track of the Dirt series. I think for me at the moment, that genre is sort of not one I'm into.
I mean, just to give it a go, I suppose, because it'll be on there. It's worth a shot, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't certainly pay for it. But yeah, that's what Game Pass is all about.
Of course it is.
So yeah, interesting. And Elite Dangerous, I've not played that for donkeys. I'll probably go up and remember the controls, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, there is on the YouTube channel actually a complete playlist of the videos that I did on how to play Elite Dangerous. So if anybody's wanting to see that, if they pick that game up, that's available on there. The version of it is just Elite Dangerous, so that one won't have planetary landings because that came in Elite Dangerous Horizons, unless of course they're giving away that expansion for free as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much of that I've got. Did that come with what I had? I'm not sure.
It was an add-on, unless you bought it with the add-on with the game.
Possibly, I don't know now. I have to look at it.
I mean, it's a fantastic space game that's got a heritage right back to the BBC Model B and back to 1984.
Be nice. I don't know if they'd need it. Well, because a lot of it's black anyway, but whether they could give it a bit of an upgrade for the Series X
Well,
would be nice.
You obviously don't know about Elite Dangerous Omega then.
I've seen a trailer recently where they're actually, is it first person or third person battles?
No, it's you control your character, so you can go into space stations, you can talk to NPCs. Also, planets are not just all like the moon; they actually have atmospheres and that sort of stuff as well. So they're developing it, and obviously the next step will be vegetation and procedurally drawn cities and stuff like that.
And it'll end up being like the other game, then, won't it?
Like No Man's Sky.
Yeah,
it
will be.
Well, I think that's where they're trying to get it, but No Man's Sky sort of a more sort of like 1960s Forbidden Planet kind of look to it, whereas this is trying to be more naturalistic. So, be interested to see how that looks once it's released. Epic Games, we've got Absolute Drift Zen Edition, which is available free at the moment, and Rage 2. So you can get your Bethesda playing on there on PC, Steve.
No, forget that. I'm playing Skyrim. It's fine.
Well, they're available on Epic up until the 25th of February. So if you've hear this just as we release it, you've only got a couple of days to get those. And then after that, there is Sunless Sea, which is available from the 25th of Feb to the 4th of March. So, Steve, what have you been playing this week, mate?
Skyrim. You believe it?
Really? I would never have guessed with your name dropping that game several times in the conversation up till now.
No, what it was, I was doing a bit of YouTube scrolling, as you do sometimes when you get bored.
Yeah.
And I saw that there was a new update, so a new mod for Skyrim called the... You can hear me fine when I'm like this, is that right? Okay. So it's called the Uncapped FPS. So a very small update on the mods gives you 60 frames per second.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, this could be fun. So I did do a lot of research, and I ended up putting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 mods on to this game. Now, I left it on my second playthrough because I've already completed this game once.
Okay.
So what I ended up doing, I ended up putting in the unofficial Skyrim Special Edition mod. These are in loading order if you ever want to do this. Then came the Uncapped FPS. Then did a quality world map. Then I had Authentic Legion replace the Nordics. I had Splendid Dragon variants. Tamriel retextures and architecture. I had then Friendly Sim, Cathedral landscapes and grass and snow. Majestic Skyrim overhaul for the land. Glassy Water 4K. Simply Darker Inferno Fire. Enhanced Night of Skyrim. And that looks amazing at night. You got like the aura. You know the aura you get at in Iceland?
Yeah. The Aurora Borealis.
That's it. All this sort of stuff. It just looks fantastic. And then the Obsidian Weather and Seasons mod. So all those put into order, and I was blown away at what I was looking at. Now, I've completely forgot about what the Series X can do from the sort of the speed of it. So if you remember playing Skyrim in the day, you would sit there, it'd fire up, you'd have something sitting on the screen which you could turn around about 1 billion times, wait for it to load. It's just seconds. It literally is. It just pops, loads up. With all the textures and mods I put in, it just looks like a new game to me. Yeah. And I think it's I did a post on a Series X Facebook page. Couldn't believe the amount of comeback on that I got of people wanting to try it, and people thought, can you do actually some people never heard of mods on these games. Also, you can do this for Fallout 4. Now I've not gone there yet, but I will be looking at the mods. Got a very similar mod for 60 frames per second, and I may well just put that in there as well and try that.
Can you do it a Fallout 86 or 76 rather?
No, don't do that. No, it's all to do with the standalone games. Yeah. We didn't talk about 76. Can't get my head around that. But Fallout 4 will be interesting to see what that looks like. And apparently it's pretty good. Digital Foundry have done a few bits and pieces on this as well. So if you want to have a look at that, it's well worth a look. I know you don't like being in walls and stuck in whatever it is that happened to you, and I sympathise. But if I know, and you're the PC generation, so this will be just right up your street.
Modding, I'm very familiar with, yeah.
But a lot of people, I don't think, really forget that this is here. Obviously, the caveat to that, if we're going to call this one, is that when you use a modded game like Skyrim, you can't get the achievements. But I'm not too fussed about that.
Yeah,
to be honest. But yeah, it's really good. I've really enjoyed having a good playthrough on that so far.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah, it's just something completely different to what I'm normally been playing with FIFA, for example, and Destiny 2.
Anything that gets you off Destiny, Steve, I'm up for.
Yeah. Well, just a little thing on FIFA. I've actually picked up some icon players, but basically, just quick brief what they are. They are players from the past, which you can play in your team. And I picked up Gary Lineker and Michael Owen for that, which is pretty cool. So I'm enjoying that. Destiny 2, we have now Season of the Chosen has started. I'm not sure if you've started that yet at all. No, okay. Then with the season pass, you will get the new exotic bow called the Tisius Divination. There is a new quest for a new scout rifle called Dead Man's Tell. This comes with a quest called Presage.
Is that the one that looks like a shotgun?
No, there's another one you got actually, which you got off the back in the season as well. But no, this is a scout rifle.
Right, because I saw a scout rifle. Someone was posting it on somewhere, and I looked at it and I thought it doesn't look like a scout rifle. It looks like a shotgun.
Yeah, there is a shotgun you do get as well.
Yeah, but this was a scout rifle.
Okay.
Right. But it looked, if it was in the real world, you would have thought it would have been a shotgun.
Oh, okay, cool. But yeah, not too sure about that. But this is what I've really enjoyed of this season. They've got a new sort of way of playing the game for the. Do you remember when you get those engrams that used to drop all the time? You have to put and you convert them.
Yeah.
So you got something called battlegrounds now, and you can do this within obviously sort of single player, but you put 3 people in, and you have to follow battle in the Cabal. That's pretty cool to do that. Obviously, you get different drops, and you upgrade on a space station. I think it's probably a spaceship just outside the tower.
Yeah.
And you can collect. You sort of put them in the pot again, choose what you want to choose for them, and so on and so forth. We did it in the past, but it's quite different the way it works. I've quite enjoyed it. Some people might say it's still Destiny, but that's what Destiny is. I mean, what do you want? If you don't want to play that, you play something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm enjoying it. What am I up to now? 1291, my character at the moment, and yeah, just every now and then I'll pop it on for a little bit, do some bits and pieces. But yeah, that's about all I think I've played this week. Not a great deal. I did, just going off to what you're going to talk about, I did go on the PlayStation and download what you're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So I've actually made
sure I've done that. It's also on Game Pass as well, you know that, don't you?
Yeah, but I've thought the PlayStation 5, I thought, well, actually, that's a different version.
It's the Ultimate Edition. So yeah. It's got the DLC with it as well.
So I've downloaded, I'll put that in the library.
Yeah. So the game I'm going to talk about then is obviously Control. So there's 2 versions of it. There's the normal version, and then there is the Ultimate Edition. The Ultimate Edition's obviously got stuff like ray tracing, all of that sort of stuff on for your next-gen consoles, but also on PC. That's on anyway on the game. So I'm playing it on PC through Game Pass at the moment, and that version is fully ray traced as well. This is a game I sort of first discovered when it was released. So I talked about this way back, and it's a funny thing is this game, because this is actually a really good game that not many people seem to buy at the time.
It got poo-pooed a bit, didn't it, really?
It did, and I have no idea why. I have no idea why at all. It's in terms of story, it's a good sort of story, kind of in a storyline, not in a gameplay line. Very emphasize that. Reminds me a bit of Beyond Two Souls in some respects, because there's like this entity that is with you, although you don't control it. But this is a very different game. This is a third-person sort of like action-adventure sort of game. And basically, you play the new director of the Federal Bureau of Control, which is a secret government agency that operates a facility in New York, which is sort of like based on this sort of place of power sort of thing.
Is it similar? Say, I know I can see your notes there.
Yeah.
Do you think it's linked anyway to the powers that be in their last game?
Well, I'm going to come on to that.
That was my question. But yeah, go on.
I'll cover that in a second. So the building that you're in is in lockdown, as it's
it's probably quite apt.
Yeah, probably. It's probably because New York's under lockdown, but it's taken over by otherworldly beings, which are known as the Hiss, which your character actually sort of names them because they sort of like make a hissing sound, so hence the Hiss. It's original, I know. And you're tasked to collect objects of power, which can be anything like a typewriter, a chair, whatever, a TV. And then you have to save the Bureau and also rescue your brother who was abducted by the Bureau of Control many years beforehand. So this is a great sort of like supernatural game, which is heavily inspired by TV shows like Twin Peaks and the Twilight Zone. You can see the historical nod that these games sort of make to that. Now, this is a game by Remedy. Remedy are well known for two other very similar sort of games, those being Alan Wake, which Steve was referring to there, I believe, and Quantum Break. I almost said
that was the one I was mentioning. Yeah.
Oh, well, was that the one you were reading? Right. Well, actually, this is supposed to be the Remedy connected universe, so it's all part of the same thing. Now, I understand, although I haven't actually experienced this myself, one of the DLC, I think that you see or hear or talk to Alan Wake as a character. It's definitely
I played the DLC and completed the game there. So
you've completed it.
Alan Wake, I have.
Oh yeah, Alan Wake. Yeah, but no, I'm on about this in.
So when you complete the story and you do the DLC,
yes, there is evidently an Alan Wake connection there.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, Remedy, they make great games. You know, I loved Quantum Break. I
never finished it, unfortunately.
I did finish it. The last bottle bass was an absolute pain in the backside. I liked the fact that they tried to be innovative with Quantum Break and put in that sort of show at the end of everyone. You know, the guy that featured, not only, you know, the Eyesight X-Men, who was the main star of the whole of the series, the whole of the game.
He's Zavala in Destiny.
Yeah.
And also he was in Fringe, the TV show.
Yeah, he was in Fringe and Lost, but that was the other guy who was in it as well. But also the main character that you play in Quantum Break was the guy who was in the X-Men series. He was the young X-Men who.
Yeah, I was thinking of the character from
the black guy who's bald.
Yeah, because his voice is a violin now. So anytime I hear him, it's like you just can't get your head around it.
Yeah, no, he's a great actor. And he was in. It wasn't only in Lost as well. It was in that other sort of like Twilight Zone, Outer Limits sort of show.
Well, Fringe, I'm on about.
Fringe, yeah, that was it.
Yeah,
he was in that as well. It's a great show, is Fringe. So all of this universe is all connected. So these three games are connected in some sort of way. I'm sure that a future game will highlight how they're connected even more. But this is just another great game from Remedy, which I think at the time of launch was really sadly overlooked.
Because I remember I was listening to IGN when this was released, and they were sort of praising the game a bit, and I'm thinking, but I'm hearing conflicting reports that it's pretty poor, and hence I never went down the route of picking it up.
Yeah.
Now, should I play on the Xbox Series X or should I play on the PlayStation 4 Pro? That's the question.
Play on the PlayStation 4 Pro. The reason why you say that is because it's the Ultimate Edition, so it's got the enhancements. The version on Game Pass is the normal edition. I think it's.
And I don't think the machine is going to make much difference to that game anyway.
There will, because the enhancements are on the Ultimate Edition.
What I mean is, though, because I've only got a PlayStation 4.
Oh, Pro, yeah, of course you have. In that case, it doesn't matter which one you play it on. I forget you haven't got a PlayStation 5.
No, that's right. So what I'm saying is, if I was to play it on the Xbox Series X, is there going to be much in it? Because, to be honest, it's only reloading times that's going to make a difference, isn't it? If there is any.
It is, yeah. That's the only thing that's
I might even go back to Quantum Break first, actually. It might be worth finding that game, because it's a huge game save on that, with all that video as well that you've got.
Yeah. It's definitely worth a go.
Maybe just dumb it to the easiest you can, just to go through the game to enjoy the story.
Yeah, and I mean, in terms of control, I think I got sort of 3/4 of the way through originally, or I got about half or something like that. I got a significant portion in there, a good few hours in. So to speed up the beginning part of the game, you can actually do the aim assist and all of those sort of tweaks.
Yeah.
So to skip through the bits I've already done, I just put it on easy and zoomed through them, and then switched all that off later on. And God, that was running into face first into a wall because it was suddenly really hard.
Yeah, did start the game on the Xbox, but yeah, I do like though. I still stick up for Remedy personally. I mean, we can go back to their earlier games. What was that game before Alan Wake that came out? The Detective. Do you remember? With the slow time bullets.
Oh, yeah, I do. I can see the character as well, and it's doing
because when you see the director for Remedy, I think they use his face for the character. If I remember rightly. I know you're going to pick your head now because you can't remember who it is.
Oh God, that is really, really annoying me. I'm going to have to look it up.
But Alan Wake, if anyone hasn't ever played that is a must.
Yeah,
I just adored Alan Wake. It's just brilliant. You can say it now. What was the game?
Max Payne.
That's it. Yeah, that was their first game.
Yeah,
which I enjoyed playing that.
Yeah, that took a very dark turn, did that game?
But you can see, I mean, I think Remedy, as you said, a company that always likes to be looking at new ideas, new things. They did that with Quantum Break, and you can see the idea of obviously Alan Wake. The special thing about Alan Wake was using a torch to keep yourself alive, bouncing between street lights when it was dark and stuff like that.
And that you can see in other games as well, because I was taught on the show last week about Little Nightmares 2, and there's elements of that in that game as well. Little Nightmares 2, talk about an absolutely fantastic atmospheric game. They nail that game.
Oh, really? I didn't play much of the first one, to be honest.
The first one was terrifically atmospheric. It's really well worth going back and playing that game if you haven't got the second one. But I've played the second one, and it's just it builds on all of the strengths of the first one. And you've got the additional character in there as well, who you don't control but helps you out in certain situations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's a great game to play. I absolutely love it. I've always been a big fan of the Little Nightmares games. I remember if you remember that time when I went down to London to the PC gaming exposition when we were on another show. I went down to London for that show, and that was the first time I saw Little Nightmares, and that was a long time before that game was released even, and it looked fantastic then, and just really such a good game. But Little Nightmares 2, very, very atmospheric.
Yeah. Just before we get off the gaming side, I didn't mention, did I? I pre-ordered a set of headphones.
Oh, right, yeah.
The new Xbox wireless.
Oh, right, yeah. I saw that you were in a conversation with someone about that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, so just briefly, when it was mentioned...
Was it Albert who mentioned that? Yeah.
It was. I'd already seen the trailer, and I thought, but they sold out in the Microsoft web store, completely sold out. So I went to Game and picked them up there. So we'll see. Let's see. I mean, I can always cancel it last minute if they're no good, but because they're just so independent for a console.
Yeah.
And they will have Dolby Atmos involved with the headset and everything else, and it'd probably be a good experience.
Didn't you have Astros on your Xbox One?
I used to have a set of... Yeah, I picked up a set, ironically, when Alan Wake came out.
Yeah.
That was, God knows, a long time ago. I was still living in Reading at the time. But they've been and gone.
Right.
And I've never had a headset since.
Yeah.
And I do have another. I've got a Sony headset which I can use for movies. We can see from here, which are pretty cool. And there's a little switch down below under the bottom of my system there. And but yeah, just dedicated gaming, I don't have anything at all. So it'd be nice to stop upsetting people above my head at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean. So we'll see.
Know what you mean. Yeah, I mean that's the great thing about where I am at the moment, because this was the garage that I'm in. And it's been renovated, and it's attached to the side of the house. And
so there's no one above you, is there?
And over there, no, there's no one above me. There's no one on that side. And in between this room and the house, there was a corridor which we split up into 2 different rooms, one at each end, because the corridor ran the length of the house. And it's now a toilet, and then it's the main wall of the house. So I can quite easily listen to, my Dolby surround sound system on pretty loud volume and not disturb anybody at any point in the day.
No,
apart from if I do it during the day and my wife's working at the dining room table. And I don't shut the door. That's the only time I disturb anybody. But late on at night, can't be heard, and I can't hear what's going on in the rest of the house either. So I don't use headphones now, or very rarely.
No.
The only time I use headphones really is doing this show. Or
which I've got something.
Or very rarely if we play together.
Sorry, what was that?
I know I can't remember the last time
we haven't played together for about a year. So come on.
But that's because you're always on Destiny and I'm fed up.
Not coming over to Destiny. No.
Well, when I do come over to Destiny, I'm doing it on the PC. You need to get a PC, mate.
No. I'm quite content on the Series X. It's fine.
If you don't want to have the superior Destiny experience. So
no, this is superior enough. My eyes have been open to something that I didn't have in the first place. So
yeah, no, but that's all old news, to be honest. What's on there?
Yeah, but the PC are a bunch of different people compared to us console players. So yeah, I'm not going to go into that right now.
Yeah, it's more skill.
Yeah. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, let's move on. Okay, let's go on to movies, TV, and streaming.
In quest of a better life.
All right, so movies, TV, and streaming, and a little bit of news. We have the ongoing thing with things going on over at Disney. Gina Carano was interviewed by The Wire about her being kicked off The Mandalorian, basically being fired from Disney.
See, social media's got a lot to answer for these days, hasn't it?
Oh, God, yeah, hasn't it? Has us fake news and everything else. So Carano was said that she's been a victim of bullying by Disney and Lucasfilm. She was fired earlier this month from the hit Disney TV Plus show The Mandalorian, and she sparked outrage with a post comparing the US political climate to the Nazi era, which...
Oh, that reminds me, I've got to say something.
Go on then.
Just going back to gaming, sorry.
Yeah.
Bungie got a slap on the wrist because they had I can't remember what the actual phrase was. There was a quest within the Battlegrounds on the new expansion, and it was very similar to a Nazi slogan from World War.
All right, okay.
And someone picked up on it. I mean, yeah, okay. So they retracted it and apologised and then changed the wording of it to just keep people happy.
Yeah.
But saying that, I've got to mention this. I'm researching a very famous TV show that you and I love for a podcast, Wrong Reel, which will be coming out. Well, we're not recording it till end of March. But I was listening to John Cleese talking about, because I've got the audio books for 40 Towers.
All right, okay, yeah. Which
is basically is the shows where Andrew Sachs does a little bit of commentary because it tells you what's going on, which you can't physically see in the. If you're going to watch them, but you and I have watched them probably a billion times, no inside out. And on this sort of subject, he said he was in Germany. Now we know the problems we've had with Netflix and the German episode. And I was listening to it in the car, coming back from walking with the missus, walking Yoda. And there was some other term of phrases for certain gender of people that the major was saying. My floor, I completely forgot. But what John Cleese said before the show started for that episode, because he does a little brief intro to each one. He said he was in Germany and a guy came out and shouted out, "Don't mention the war," and he was German. So if they can do that, water under the bridge, as far as I'm concerned.
I think the people who want to find offence at anything will find offence no matter what. These things have to be taken into context. It's like turning around and saying, putting a blacklist on the Flash Gordon movie because it encourages the yellow peril, which is a figure of speech only actually really used by Kaiser Wilhelm from 120 years ago. I think maybe we should be moving on from that. I just think it's so ridiculous, but we've talked about it, and to be honest, these are the times where we normally cut these conversations out of the show because we just don't want to get too political. But
no,
it's like TV shows of the 60s, 70s, even 80s and 90s, all of that, the bygone eras. Life moves on, views move on. We are, as a society, more tolerant. So if we are supposed to be more tolerant, be tolerant of the fact that history is, that people's views have changed.
Yeah, I mean, without I don't want to drop myself in hot water because it's easy to do that, with social media as well.
Well, people will take offence if they want to anyway.
But yeah, no, it's really crazy. But yeah, from this person's point of view, she obviously made her thoughts, and she got in trouble for it, rightly or wrongly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, evidently, she reckons that Disney and Lucas have been watching her like a hawk because of a post, and she's accused Disney of allowing her liberal co-stars to express their views more freely. So I'm not sure. I've been aware of this sort of story, but to me, it's almost a non-story as well. Not because I'm not belittling the suffering that the Jews went through, but it's Disney being protective of their reputation. And their
reputation's tarnished as far as I'm concerned anyway, because they're just too big for themselves now.
You actually look at the top 20 grossing movies of all time. Is it 16 of them have been produced by Disney?
Probably, and some of them weren't Disney, are now Disney as well.
Yeah. Basically,
saying that, when we
get
to talk about another show later on, it's now one of the top grossing watched TV shows of all time.
Yes.
Which is hard to believe, even though it's streaming, that it's got the accolade, isn't it?
And especially when you consider what it's about, because it's not your normal thing that would have been having that sort of position.
No, absolutely. I'm just looking at the not that, but I'm just looking at some movies coming out. But it's that's interesting. That's something else we'll talk about in a minute. But have you seen a trailer for Mortal Kombat yet?
No.
That looks interesting, because I'm not a fan of Street Fighter as much as Mortal Kombat. But it's a new movie coming out. I think it's going to be, looking at this, April the 2nd, it's coming out at the moment. If I'm looking at a right release date list that's up to date, if you're with me, because it is changing.
Well, it's always changing, so you just
before May for Black Widow, if you've got the cinemas open.
Yes, that'll be, hoping. And the problem is that what's happening with Marvel now is
they're about a year and a half behind, aren't they?
Yeah, and any further delays are going to start having a knock-on impact on what they're actually producing now, because the Marvel universe is so interlinked.
Because obviously each film's got its own link to a story in the background as such.
Yeah.
Because when is, not that we're going to know now, even though it's going to be relevant to later, when is Doctor Strange 2 coming out? That's still a way off, isn't it?
It is. I gave the complete list of what the Disney lowdown is for the next things on the last show.
I have found out that Danny Elfman's now doing the score for it.
Yeah,
that's been confirmed. And obviously, is it March? We got Justice League. I'm not sure. It's not. We haven't got a UK date yet.
I don't know about the Snyder Cut, but
yeah, it's got a date for March for the States.
So in terms of the Marvel Phase 4 stuff, WandaVision obviously started in January, Falcon and Winter Soldiers from the 19th of March, which would also coincide with about a week or so after WandaVision's finished. Then you've got Black Widow on May the 7th, the Loki TV show in May, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which is on the 9th of July, What If in the summer of 2021, Hawkeye late 2021, Ms. Marvel late 2021. And Ms. Marvel is different to Captain Marvel because Ms. Marvel's the first Asian sort of heritage superhero. There's Eternals, 5th of November 2021, Spider-Man 3, 17th of December 2021, Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness, March 25th, so there's just over a year to go there. And evidently, Wanda or Scarlet Witch is going to appear on the Multiverse of Madness as well.
Well, that's right, yeah.
And then there's Thor: Love and Thunder on the 6th of May.
And Matrix 4 is just a week after the Spider-Man sequel.
Right. So it's going to be good and busy in terms of Marvel.
If we're back to normal by then, I hope we bloody are.
Well, the TV shows will hopefully still sync up.
Yeah,
and
it's weird because obviously there's social distancing with TV. I don't think we've ever mentioned this, have we? Did you hear someone recorded while filming Mission Impossible, the latest one at the moment, where Tom Cruise lost it with the cast?
No.
You want to Google that? What happened is someone wasn't doing proper social distancing. He went ballistic, and you can hear him in this recorded tape of him screaming and swearing and shouting, explaining, "You lot will be fired for this if you don't do as you're told. The game, it'll be over, out." And it's mental, absolutely mental, but rightly so probably. But hearing him lose it like the way he did in front of all the crew, it's what they were going to do.
I mean, I have to admit, good, because I think it's the right thing for him to do.
It's quite amusing to hear his chatter because of what he's coming out with. That was some time ago now, that was. But yeah, maybe a bit later, because then you won't have time. You want to better listen to that. But have a little listen to that. It's a bit of an eye-opener, really.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people don't obey by social distancing anyway, and that's the problem why we are where we are.
Not that anyone in this show watches what I've been watching over the last week. And I sit and watch it with the missus anyway. So a lot of American shows, they're starting to come together now, aren't they? We're going to start seeing the release of The Flash, and we've got the new Superman TV show coming on. And one of my missus' favourite shows, as I've said this before, is Grey's Anatomy, which is based as a hospital drama. And so far, it's been released in the States. They've been filming during COVID and everything else. But what they've done with it, because it's if you remember ER back in the day with James Clooney used to be in, it's a real life drama now, sort of. It's not set any other time or distance, whatever. It's set now. So what they've done is it's now, the show is now during COVID. And since episode 1 of this season, I think 17 seasons now they're up to. It's basically the start of COVID, and it's, how do I put it? It's something, I know people won't want to watch it, and people should have a little look at it just to see what the hospital's been going through and what they're showing, how they're coping with COVID as a hospital and everything else. The Fire show that sisters this, which is called Station 19, it's all in the same universe, and everyone's social distancing. It's quite nice to see, but it also it's a little bit of education and probably how hospitals are having to cope with this, because I'm not sure if anything like what we've got the equivalent of over here, Holby, haven't we?
Yeah.
Which is a TV show that the BBC do. I'm not sure whether that show at the moment is probably doing something like that, because these were probably old ones. But it was interesting to see how they're adjusting with COVID as a TV show to show how it happens. Bang, we're April 2020, and it all kicked off, and that's how this program's progressing at the moment. But yeah, I say TV shows are still few and far between.
Yeah, that's true, and it's good that TV shows are starting to reflect that whole COVID sort of situation.
I think it's a little bit of education people should watch, just to even get a bit of a glimpse of what actually everyone's going through that end.
Yeah, I mean, I work with people who are, in health and the front line and that sort of stuff, and I can see in the faces and, in the voices, the strain that this current situation's under, and, just really big shout out to anybody who's in the NHS and front line. Is just, thank you for everything that you're doing, but also to everybody else who's also doing, key worker sort of services. And I know that I'm a key worker myself, but in terms of everybody, who's in that, keep up the good work, because the numbers are coming down in the number of deaths as well, and it's
apparently Southampton's gone up lately, which is next. So it's also on our doorstep at the moment. But
well, evidently Hamilton's a high risk area at the moment, because we had that government sort of sign flashing away at the end of our high street. But it's certainly been a weird year.
Yeah. Anyway, should we move on to? Well, it's not a lot there actually. You've highlighted, but
no, there's not a lot. But do you want to do what the releases are?
Blu-ray DVD releases for February the 22nd. We have 2001: A Space Odyssey 4K Blu-ray. Haven't you already got that?
I have. Yes. In fact, I have it right there.
So why is it being released again?
I think it's just a reprinting of this version of it. I think, which is a really nice, sort of.
Okay, so you've also highlighted Doom Patrol Season 2.
Yeah, Doom Patrol. Have you not seen Doom Patrol?
I've seen the movies for Doom.
This has nothing to do with Doom.
Yes, I was just going to say.
No, if you've got Amazon Prime, you'll be able.
I do.
Do you have? Is it Star? Might be Star.
I sub to Shudder, which I'm going to talk about in a second. Actually, looking at this list you've got here.
Well, in one of the ones that you can
Stargazer, is it called? The one you're on about?
No, or Plays or some. I can't remember. Star Plays, I think, or something like that. But one of the channels that's on Prime has Doom Patrol on it, and it's sort of like I think it's DC Universe, but it's like an alternative kind of Justice League sort of thing, but it's not Justice League. There's like an ex-race car driver whose brain was put into a Tin Man, and all of this sort of stuff. It's like really wacky and weird. There is a gay street, as in the street is gay.
It's not the only guy in the village, then.
No, but there's all sorts of weird stuff that goes on it, and it stars Timothy Dalton.
Welsh Bond.
Yes, yeah. So definitely, it took a while to get into, but once I got into it, I quite like the series.
Well, I want to just a quick brief thing. So you've got those two highlighted there. If you have Shudder, there's a movie called Host, which I think is one of the best movies of, was it this year? It might have been last year. Tail end of last year? I'm not sure now. And this was produced and filmed during COVID. And it's a horror story about a seance over Zoom. Really was good. It has that paranormal activity vibe to it.
Right.
But everyone is on the screen, is on a Zoom cast. And I think Second Sight have just released a Blu-ray version of it, edition, which is coming out, I think, next month. But that is a really, really good sort of spooky movie to watch. And it's got that also vibe. But do you remember the back in the day of the camcorder movies that came out?
Yeah. Because
it's all that sort of idea, because they're on little webcams on their laptops and stuff like that. But yeah.
There was a movie, I can't remember what it was called, but it was on Netflix, I think it was, that was, the whole thing was filmed with webcams, and it starred the guy who played Sulu in the Kelvin universe for Star Trek.
I might have seen that one. There's been a few bits and pieces that came out that people did do.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But The Host, I will thoroughly recommend as a film. I've watched it a couple of times on Shudder, but if you don't, it's well worth picking up on that. It'd be nice to actually have a hard copy of it.
Yeah. Well, opportunity to get that though.
Yeah, it's coming out soon. So, are you going to do the Blu-ray DVD chart? Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, I'll do the chart. So at number 5 is Harry Potter: The Complete Collection, which has evidently been in the charts for 447 weeks. Tenet, which is from Warner, that's down. Up from 5 to 4. Up from number 49 to 3 is Old Boy.
Can I stop you there?
Yeah.
Do you know what that movie's about? Because that's a cover to a Queen album.
And presumably it must be the music video of that.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
It looks like
it's a cover.
Is it
yeah.
A Day in the Night?
A Night at the Opera.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. I was getting tongue-tied.
Yeah, I think sometimes the website I get it from sometimes links in the wrong thing.
Yeah.
At number 2, a new entry is Possessor.
Yes. Where anyone gets a version of that and watches it, yeah, really cool.
Yeah.
Good horror flick.
And at number 1, a re-entry into the charts is Doctor Who, the 50th anniversary edition, the one with William Hurt as the War Doctor.
It did actually put a lump in my throat.
Yeah.
Because, spoilers, anybody's not seen it, the caretaker of the museum is Tom Baker.
It is.
And God.
But when you listen to what he says,
yes, exactly.
Is he actually still Doctor Who in that?
I know. You wonder that, but it's such a good episode.
Yeah,
they really nailed it, and I've got to go back to watching Doctor Who quickly. I mean, the latest Christmas episode, I do have it now, but I'm a year behind at the moment. Is
that the latest Christmas episode? I have to admit, Doctor Who has been shattered to me because of the episode, Child of Time or Child of Time or whatever it's called.
Yeah, because John Barrowman's in this, and I do like him as he plays Captain Jack in it.
Yeah, so, you can't not like John Barrowman, really, can you?
But yeah, no. So I'm crazy that's number 1. Maybe that's just been released and people are picking up because they haven't got any decent Doctor Who to watch. But no disrespect to the one at the moment, who apparently I've heard rumours that she will be leaving. That's not been confirmed.
Well, she's got another season, hasn't she? But
I think after that, I think she's going. Apparently,
yeah.
I've heard that she's handed a notice in, but we'll see.
I know who I think they should get next,
and they should go back to being a bloke.
Yes, it is a bloke, but I think you'll agree, Martin Sheen.
Do you know what? That would be pretty interesting. He's not done Doctor Who yet, has he?
No, he hasn't, but he's good mates with David Tennant. But I think he would be perfect for it. And also, the person I would love to see as Doctor Who the most on the entire planet, but it won't happen. Evidently, he turned it down. Bill Nye.
What did I just watch? I watched it over the weekend. What did I watch with the missus? God, I can't remember. I've been watching a program and Bill Nye was in it. Oh God, mate, I can't think what we watch now. Anyway, yeah, he's such a lovable character. That guy is. Oh,
he's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely love him. But I think either one of those two would be perfect for Doctor Who.
There was a Scottish actor, very slim character. I can't remember who he was.
David Tennant.
No. There was another guy that could have actually probably taken it on.
Yeah,
but I can't remember who the guy's name is. But it'd be interesting to see how that all rumbles and rocks and roll, because I think apparently one of the
you weren't meaning Billy Connolly, were you?
Oh no!
That would have been interesting.
No, it was some other guy. I think he was in a Sky TV show, wasn't he? Something called Out of Luck or something like that. Lucky.
I'm not sure.
There was a TV show where some guy was starting to get luck for some unknown reason.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know that. It was.
Do you know the main guy that plays the lead role in that?
Yes.
He, I think, would make a good Doctor. I think
wasn't he on the Mummy as well?
I know you're getting slightly confused, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah, possibly. Yeah. I don't know, but.
No, I know. Yeah, because it was Stanley's whatever it was, because it was based on his comics. Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah.
I know the guy, and I'm trying to think of what the actor's name is, and I can see his face as well. It's so frustrating.
But anyway, do you want to say what you've been watching? Because there's one I noticed was one there. I thought I saw that advertised on not advertised. I've seen the picture of it, so I haven't got a clue what it's about. But
okay.
Is it any good?
Right, well, there's 3 I've got to talk about. So I'll talk about the first one. Twilight Zone Season 2, as in there.
Yeah.
So nice little, part of my massive box set for that. I've been watching that, and it's just so fantastic watching the old episodes. They were so good when you think about when they were produced, and some of the quality of the special effects, rubber monsters, that sort of thing. Yeah, okay, but they tended not to go down that sort of route very often. And it's just really great stories. Really,
and with
great
a lot of
one-off.
a lot of people that became well known in the world of acting, isn't it?
Yeah,
Really?
I'll tell you what one on that season I watched, and so when you think William Shatner in the Twilight Zone, what do you think of?
Well, the main one is the airplane at 52,000 feet is one that comes to mind.
Yeah, but in season 2, his first time appearing in it, he was a young man just being married, where his car breaks down in this village, and him and his wife put some money in one of those things that predict your future.
Oh, like same as in Tom Hanks.
No, it's just on a desk on a table in a restaurant, and they do it, a few times, and they all seem to be lining up, and every time that they try and go against it, something bad happens. And it was just a really interesting one. And then I won't say how it ends, but it's a really good episode. I quite enjoyed that one. But
I think there was in this season. I can't remember which one it is. There's one. The actor that plays the ship's cook in Forbidden Planet. He's in an episode of Twilight Zone, and I wasn't sure if it was very early on in season 2 or not.
I can't remember. The
guy that gets all the whiskey from Robbie.
Yeah,
if you remember. Him. But I mean, it's very tempting to pick them up at some point, but it's a bit pricey, isn't it?
Well, I think it was about 50 quid for the box set, something like that. But when you look at how many hours of entertainment there is on there.
Yeah, and to say the TV show that's the new Spawn version, I don't think they actually go down the route of recreating any of those stories.
Well, not the new one.
The movie did.
The movie did, and also I think that the 80s TV show recreated a couple of them.
Yeah,
but you can't seem to buy those ones.
Which ones?
Like the 80s TV series.
Right.
They never seem to sell those. They sell the black and white ones, but not the ones after that. Because I'm seriously considering after this getting.
Well, you can rent. Twilight Zone the movie starring Dan Aykroyd. Was he in that? I can't remember now.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, and I forgot what his name. Off Bigfoot and the Hendersons. What's his name?
Yeah, I've got one of his movies up there called Rising Cain. Actually, in my Arrow collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was, and he did that when he was in a comedy, wasn't he, with guy that played Elf or something? What is his dad or something?
Yeah,
I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, Daddy's Home.
That's it. Yeah.
He was also on one of the Planet of the Apes movies as well.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. The first one where what you call it, of Spider-Man's got Caesar at home. He was.
Oh, you in that version of the? Sorry, not in the original, but
no, in the remake.
Yeah. Oh my word, that's pricey, but yeah, okay.
So, but I quite fancy getting the Outer Limits after this.
Well, I do have a few of those digitally kicking around on my PC. I've seen that was as good as to a certain degree.
Yeah, definitely.
And very, very classic 50s show. I just love those 50s. It's funny, even when you talk about 50s shows and how some of those TV shows were, even the Addams Family and the Munsters leading into the 60s, they left a mark, I think, personally, on me. I don't know about yourself.
Yeah.
You got three things here. You got three things here.
So
one I know about, which is I suppose you and about that, or that's something completely different. Excuse me.
I'll go in order. So anyway, Twilight Zone, absolutely classic, really well worth watching if you can get hold of the box set or watch it on streaming service somewhere. The next one is a new show, and it's called Resident Alien. So this is a new show that's on Sky, and it's got Alan is it Tudyk that you pronounce his name? He was on Rogue One and Firefly sort of fame as well. He did the voice and the physical movement of the robot on Rogue One. Basically, he's an alien on a mission to destroy all humans, and he accidentally crashes on Earth and loses his weapon of mass destruction. That means that he's then forced to take the form of a human, and he must find his spacecraft and weapon while getting increasingly involved in the small American townsfolk as the local doctor after he's brought in to solve the murder of the existing town doctor. And the reason why is because the person whose form he took, because he killed a human and then took the form, was actually, as a medical practitioner. And he's the only other person who's trained, that character was the only person who was trained to do so in the area. And because it's like up in the north part of America and it's all snowed off, they needed his assistance. So he's trying to blend in and basically starts to understand humanity as he starts to make links with with the townsfolk, and only one person in the whole of the town, a small young child, can see through his disguise and see the alien that's within.
Yeah. So when you see that image that you see on Sky, because that's what I picked up on, I think it was last night.
Yeah.
When you see him in the duffel coat.
Yeah. With
the alien face on. I was thinking Paul. I was just thinking Paul.
No, it's not like that at all.
And did he start doing this with an anal probe?
He does that at the child several times, yeah.
Yeah.
Because him and his child have like this real animosity towards each other because, it's a comedy at the end.
Oh, is it? Is it still a comedy? Is it? Okay.
It's a comedy. Each episode's an American hour long, so it's about 40 minutes. 40 minutes I just saw without the adverts, yeah. Yeah, but so it's like that American show hour. So 40-minute episode, and basically it's quite episodic, but there is a background story arc going on right the whole way across the series as well.
Yeah.
Alan's one of those actors who steals every scene that he's in, and he's become, I think, one of America's really most relatable character actors. And he's got, credits in the theatre, film, television, and animation work. And it's a good dark comedy with that sci-fi twist that's going on. And, like now there's increasing jeopardy coming in all of the time in various different ways. While his alien character is becoming more human because he taking a human form is adapting to being a human. Fantastic show to have a look at. Really enjoying it.
I'm trying to think what else that guy's been in, because I know he'd been in Serenity and
Firefly.
But was he in? I can't think what else
he was in Rogue One. He was the robot in Rogue One.
Yes, he was. Yeah. I've seen him. I've watched him in something else.
You have seen him in loads of stuff.
Yeah. I'm just having a quick look because something was bugging me what I'd seen him in. There we go. So. Oh yeah, he was in iRobot.
He was a robot in iRobot.
Yeah, so he got used to doing that.
Tale.
It was something really recent-ish that we saw.
He's been in Big Hero 6. He's in the game Ark. Oh, sorry, the TV series Ark, the animated series.
I might have seen him. I think I saw him in Santa Clara Diet. Do you remember that TV show?
Yeah, I remember that. He's in Doom Patrol as well, actually.
Yeah, so he's. He's done some gaming as well. He was in Injustice 2, his voice.
Yeah, Lego Star Wars. He's been in Deadpool 2. He's
Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, Aladdin, The Adventures of Puss in Boots.
He's been around Rocket Ralph and stuff.
He was in Injustice 2.
Yeah, that's right. You just said, yeah. So, yeah, I might actually give that a little look at some point.
Definitely worth a look, but after you've watched Cobra Kai, of course.
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you what, once you've seen it, you will say, okay, you were right.
Yeah. Okay. So what's next? What's next thing you want to talk about?
Listeners, I do keep telling him. And when he suddenly has this epiphany in the future.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, right. So what's your third thing you want to talk about?
Third one is a Channel 4 series. It's been going on for a few years. It's called Man Down. So this has got Greg Davies, who was in The In-Betweeners. He was the headmaster on the series.
I know who that guy is, yeah, because he's done some quiz show stuff as well.
Yeah, and also it co-stars Rosin Connerty from Afterlife, I'm a sex worker, that one. And the first season actually stars the late Rick Mail.
Oh, okay.
It was, I think, the last series that he was in before he unfortunately died of a heart attack.
Yeah.
which is a great tragedy because I remember
Oh, yeah.
Rick. Well, I remember Rick
And-
Mail from
Tony Robinson's in it as well.
Yes, and Mark Hamill in one episode.
Oh, really? God.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what,
How did they rope him in for that one?
he looks even more, unkept in appearance than he did in the Last Jedi. I nearly said the wrong word there, but it's just such a really great, good laugh. My wife and I have been watching it because we've been trying to find something to watch together because she'll generally watch comedies, although. And I like this is in my 22 years of, going out and being married to my wife. I actually managed the other week to get her to watch for the very first time in her life Back to the Future, and she enjoyed it. And she also watched Total Recall, and she enjoyed it.
So did you say there's 3 Back to the Future movies?
We've done the back-to-back now. Trust me.
Right.
The back-to-back. And she's decided that for my 50th, if we're allowed to do it, what she's wanting to do is take us down to go and see the DeLorean because there's a place down south you can actually see the one from the film.
Yeah, I've seen 2 of them actually. Where did I see one? I've seen one at Bewley, which is near me. It's a car
I think
museum.
it was Bewley actually.
And also I've seen one you can touch that's physically there which is next to the train.
Yeah,
from Back to the Future 3, which was in Universal Studios.
There's one. This one that she's found, you can actually hire as well. So, but going back to the Man Down series, it is a really good laugh. Greg Davies, basically, he's a completely inept teacher who is living in his parents' granny flat, part of the house, and his mother does basically everything for him, and he's just basically unable to do anything with his life, and he's an absolutely useless teacher. So
yeah, I'm not sure about the actor himself. I remember him being he was a teacher and he was the headmaster in the In-Betweeners.
Yeah, Greg Davies.
Yeah, but
well worth a watch.
Yeah, cool.
So, what have you been watching, Steve?
So, I completed last night season 5 of Our Wiedersehen Pack, and I didn't realise that I hadn't seen some of them, to be honest. Now, maybe because at the time, I know when the first season was on, we always used to make sure you're home for that, and I probably was out a lot, But it was great to see those that survived. Some have passed away, unfortunately, over the years, and yeah, it was very funny to watch their undoing of misfortunes that they seem to be getting in each series. So you probably remember the first series was set in Dusseldorf, which I think is very well known. The second series is set, they help Barry and they're working on a house in the UK, and they end up in Spain helping out a crook. Then season 3, they're working in Newcastle, and there's a bridge. A big bridge that has a transporter on it.
The transporter bridge.
Yeah, they take it down and flog it.
Yeah, I think that was built as a precursor to. Well, actually, no, that's not Newcastle, the transporter bridge, but the bridge that's in Newcastle.
Is that in Middlesbrough?
That's in Middlesbrough. Yeah,
yeah.
That's
so that transporter bridge they took down in the TV show. They got two different sets of Romanians to take it down. And Bill Nye. Now, this is where Bill Nye was in this series.
Yeah,
and he was a crooked guy because he was in jail with Jimmy now with Oz.
Don't they put it on in a desert somewhere?
Yeah, they go to America to rebuild it across a ravine for some local Indians on their reservation.
Yeah. Just how ridiculous it was, because I don't think you would ever get rid of a major landmark in Middlesbrough.
No, but he did say at the end of the series, yes, the bridge is still here. If anyone had any dispute. The fourth series,
have you ever been on that bridge? Do you know it?
I know of it, and I have been to Middlesbrough many times back in the day.
Yeah,
it is a landmark in its own sense, isn't it?
Well, it is. It's part of the Middlesbrough sort of heritage, but in terms of the river, you drive on, and it's like a bit of It's like a strip of road, and then you drive on and wait, and then the strip of road moves to the other side of the river, and then you drive off.
Yeah, well, that was what they wanted to do, because in the TV show, this Indian guy wanted it because he's got a casino on their reservation, and there's a river in between them, and if you have to go around the river, it's another 50, 60 kilometers round. If they had the bridge there, it would take them no time to come across, and it would give them a bit more fruitful people coming to the casino.
Yeah.
Great scene with when they go to Las Vegas to meet this guy's son that has a bit of an issue, and as they're getting on, they cross to Nevada, which is a state line into Las Vegas. They say, "Oh look, there's a stop place there. We can have something to eat." It's a chicken ranch. And that was absolutely hilarious what went in there. But so they moved on that series. They went on the 4th series to Cuba, and then on the last series, which is only 2 episodes, I think it was like something for Christmas. They're in sort of Thailand,
right?
And Barry gets accosted by some ruthless people in the jungle. Very, very funny series. As we did say back last time we were on, Noel Clarke is in it from about season 3, playing Wayne's son. And the last series didn't have Bomber in it because he'd unfortunately passed away.
Yeah.
By then, but they didn't.
Was it Bomber who was the wrestler?
Yeah, he was in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, he was also a wrestler in real life.
Yeah, in real life he was. Yeah.
Because he used to go against Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks.
That's it. People like that back in the day. The people were wondering what we're talking about.
When you used to watch the wrestling at
World of Sport
on ITV on a Saturday.
Yeah, with Dickie Davis.
Yeah.
God, that's some time ago. But I did enjoy watching all of those. They're all on Sky at the moment. If you something worth watching, I think personally.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know what we're on about Dickie Davies and the wrestling on a Saturday afternoon, it was before all of this rubbish WWE stuff.
Oh, this is proper.
Sorry,
wrestling.
Dwayne.
You don't even see you through the door saying what you're talking about. But we used back in the day. We used to have 2 sports shows on BBC and one on ITV. BBC had Grandstand, which would be on from about 12 till 5 o'clock when the football finishes. On the other side, you had World of Sport, which was hosted by Dickie Davis, and they would have wrestling on there, horse racing and stuff like that. But that was a 70s thing. Oh, actually, I think Grandstand went into the 80s as well.
Yeah,
because Frank Boff was doing that at one point, and I think he had a bit of a telling off in his life. But we won't go down that route. So the last thing I watched and caught up with you, as I just take my heads off for a minute, is WandaVision.
Yay! We're caught up.
And yes, it's very interesting how that has sort of unfolded over the time. And I suppose a lot of people and I know I can see it, that would have watched the first 3 episodes and thought, what the frickin' heck is this all about? This is a load of tosh.
I was very close at the end of episode 2 to saying, time out, enough. And I decided I was glad that I stuck through that episode 3,
which was one which related to the idea of the Brady Bunch and stuff like that. I think that was Brady Bunch,
wasn't
it? Because it was doing it started in the 50s with the Bewitched style, went to 60s, which would have, I think, the Bewitched was going for the 50s and 60s, I think, but you had those sort of style TV shows leading on to the 70s with the Brady Bunch, going into the 80s with any sort of TV sitcom style show, and then in episode 7. Now you've seen some of the show is right out of Modern Family.
Yeah, it is completely Modern Family, but the one before was Malcolm in the Middle.
Yes, it was. Yeah. So for those that never watched it, I won't mention his name because he said it on his YouTube channel. I will rib him for that because it's I still say one of the best shows America's pulled out of the bag, as in a comedy flow on the wall.
I think Modern Family was better than Friends in the long run.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But the way this story is progressing now, I know, as you say, we've only got like 7 episodes at 20 minutes a time. And
have you seen episode 7?
Yes, I watched it today.
So you know about Agnes.
Yeah, Agnes. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and I kept away from listening to James's YouTube channel because I've been watching them, listening to his chat on it because he's got a lot of knowledge with comic books, and even he said about his sort of ideas and predictions was bang on with that. And the Book of Heresy, obviously, which we saw at the tail end of that episode 7. But it was I still say now that Captain Rambo looks like what's the name out of Discovery. I know you can't see it. No. I thought because someone nudged me and said, "Oh yeah." No, it's not. It definitely isn't.
No, it definitely is not the same person.
Actress.
But of course, she's the character of Photon.
Yeah.
And you see the birth of Photon in.
That's because obviously you keep going through into the force field of the hex, as they call it, which is giving her powers.
Yeah.
And I like the way now that we're seeing from the other side of the show, because obviously the beginning of the show, you would see at the end, you would see like a communication table, and it looks like someone was watching the show, which they were, obviously, weren't they? Mm. And now we're seeing the flip side.
Well, it's when you get that, when the voice of the radio, the first.
That's it, because
and it's actually Jimmy Woo from who was on Ant-Man.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And of course, he's now perfected his hand my card sort of thing.
Yeah.
He's managed to do that, but because of course that was what he was being taught on Ant-Man, wasn't it?
Yeah,
he was trying to do.
It's all related, isn't it? And I did like, as I said, this was said before, but I did like the way they were looking on the video screens. They were researching. Well, they knew about Ultron and what happened in the Avengers. And this could go one or two ways, really, couldn't it? You can have a battle between Wanda and Photon because she'll have her full powers, and then they'll both battle Agnes at some point.
I still don't think that Agnes is the big bad. I think that the big bad is Mephisto or Nightmare, because Nightmare's been done several times. Been mentioned. Obviously, the hex is because they're using the hex power.
It's hexagonal as well, believe it or not.
Yeah, and actually, that dungeon that Wanda ends up in the end of the episode is a hex shape built room.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that book is the one that you're thinking it is, though, because there's several other books it could be as well.
Yeah.
But because there's a lot of different theories that are out there.
But there was a lot of comic. There is a hell of a lot of comic background for this.
There is, and that's why it could be several different books as well. Because one of them might be the same book that's already been in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as another possibility as well. But yeah, I liked, you could tell when Monica was now a superhero because she did the 3-point landing.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, the Spider-Man landing. Well, I thought that actually, because the way I was expecting her to do something then when she landed like that.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to see when she was in hospital to see somebody where people were coming back to life the opposite way to when they were taken from.
It was the end of the blip when people came back to life. That was really good, and the way that they recombined her with that sound, the audio that was going over, which was actually from Captain Marvel as well. But there's, it was a bit disappointing that the big sort of like build up about I know an engineer from episode 6 didn't really pay out that much in episode 7. Because there was a lot of speculation, and I was certainly one of them. I was thinking, right, that's either Doctor Doom or it's going to be Reed Richards. I thought that was how they were going to introduce them.
But did you, when Wanda went to the door, because obviously everything was kicking off at the Halloween party, and we're leading up to that, and someone come knocking at the door, did you think it was going to be her brother?
Yeah, because it was. Well, you knew immediately it was Pietro. But it wasn't the Pietro from that universe. It was the Pietro from the X-Men universe. Because it was Aaron Davies who was on Kick-Ass played the Pietro Quicksilver from...
Compared to the one in the... which Avengers movie that would have been? I can't think which one now, but because they were in Paris at the time when he died.
It was the X-Men Days of Future Past where it was first introduced. Because don't forget as well, in this universe, Scarlet Witch said, it was said that her parents, Wanda's parents, were killed. So
That's right.
established the.
I did like her outfit. I just got to say that quickly.
Yeah, a pink leotard,
Halloween,
a red leotard and pink stockings.
Yeah,
but her parent should really be Serena McKellen.
Yeah, that's it.
Because,
but do you think she'd have brought? I was expecting her to bring them back to life.
Well, she's a daughter of Magneto, the same as it was already established in X-Men. That Pietro, or Peter as he was known, is. But here's one thing: do you know where what the two Pietros, the X-Men and the
Avengers.
Ultron, Pietros, what they both have in common?
Go on.
Kick-ass.
Okay.
And did you pick up on the kick-ass reference?
I probably didn't actually, because I haven't seen it for donkeys.
Yeah, in the because one of them was Kick-Ass and the other one was his friend. But if you watched in the episode of WandaVision, there was the reference twice in terms of that. But there was also, because Wanda's children are supposed to be
when they grew up quickly.
but they're supposed to be made, because obviously they can't be made because Vision is a synthesoid. He's not a human, so there's no way that they could have had the children. But what they're supposed to be is shards of Mephisto in the comics.
Yeah,
and of course Agnes has now taken them, and that might be so that she can bring Mephisto into the MCU. And I think as well, what they're doing here is that this is how they're going to start to bring in the X-Men into this universe.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of people are thinking that theory as well. And I think that's probably going to have something to do with the fact that if people go through the hex, then it starts to rewind.
Is that hex going to always be there, though? Because I just got a funny feeling that Vision cannot live outside it, because he's dead.
Well, the sword guy who's in charge. I forgot what his name is at the moment.
Yeah.
But he was doing Operation, was it Cataract or something like that, where he was trying to reignite or rework Vision, and of course it's sentient weapon observation response to Vision. Yeah,
I just feel that he'll end up being Star Trek ship in a bottle, because he won't be able to go outside it.
Yeah, he may well end up being Moriarty in the MCU.
I can't see him unless something can be done from the point of Doctor Strange. I can't see him surviving the show unless they're going to have a way of.
Well, they might do a magic thing. But the problem with it is
because he did have because he has got the Infinity Stone still stuck in his head at the moment.
Yeah, he's got the Mind Stone in his head. So if he comes back into the universe, one of the stones has been recreated.
Yeah.
So the one thing I just don't understand as well is why didn't the Hulk, when he snapped, also bring back the stones, reform them?
Yeah.
That would have solved a lot of problems. Lots of stones, send the other ones back, and we'll keep these ones.
Yeah, but it's. I mean, there's only 2 more episodes, and I'm assuming what it will do as well is this will just be a jump kick to the new Doctor Strange movie, obviously, because
Wanda Maximoff is supposed to be in that.
Yeah. So where they can have that bridge for later, then will come the other show will come into play.
Yeah, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
and that would take. I don't think there's going to be more than one season of Wanda.
Probably not. I think
they've not really said, have they?
I think WandaVision up it is, but then again, there has been several comics in that sort of universe.
Yeah, because when she broke the wall through the hex to come back out to say, bog off sort of thing.
Yeah,
I really thought she was going to kick her, but actually just moving the hex.
Technically, she's the strongest Avenger.
God, yeah.
By a country mile, because she was able to hold her own against Thanos much more than the other ones.
But when Agnes which was playing the sly trick, saying, "Do you know what? You're an Avenger, Vision. What you're about? What's that?" Yeah,
that was. I love it was Agnes all along intro that was done
because they did the Monsters thing, didn't they?
Yeah.
Just like the episode of the Monsters with the intro.
Yeah.
using her doing all. I killed Sparky the dog.
Yeah, and I killed Sparky.
So I know people are thinking, "What the heck are we talking about?" But
you have to watch the show. If you haven't watched the show, probably spoiled a lot of it for you, but hopefully it'll make more sense to you then.
I think, as you say, if you don't get through the first 3 episodes, you are not going to get it.
No, and it's not one of those things. If you need to know a lot about the comics in order to do this, I mean, I've learned so much more by just not because I've read the comics, because I haven't read comics for decades, but I'd still do the research into it. So, and I've picked up on things in the show, looked up what that means, and then started to draw my own.
I think the last comic, I think I've got a DC comic sitting over there, the last one I bought, which was about 6 months ago. But
yeah, no, I just don't read them at all.
But what is coming out? They're bringing back comics for the DC universe for the Batman '89.
Yeah,
so that'd be cool. I want to look into that. That will be Richard Burton. Sorry, Tim Burton's Batman with. But you see, there's all that coming out, isn't there, as well at some point?
Yeah, there is.
But it's nice actually to see a little bit of DC in the background now, because it's been so long, isn't it?
I just hope that the Snyder Cut is actually good.
I think it will be.
I think it will be. I seriously hope it will, because if
they filmed to say it's about 4 hours long, isn't it? So there's another hour of extra footage they filmed.
I thought it was longer than that. I thought it was about 6. I think they were on about releasing it as 3 2-hour episodes.
Well, he said he did say that we're going to release it, and you can watch it all in one day if you want.
Yeah,
and then they're going to release a Blu-ray of some kind as well to follow that.
That'd have to be a double discer if it was 4K.
But we're going to see how. Bit more of the story of the Flash as well, which would be interesting and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not into that Flash. I much prefer the TV.
Well, actually, but then again, it was nice to see him on the Flash TV show, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. Now, what I'm looking forward to is the new Superman and Lois show.
So that is going to be more. I don't think people should think this is going to be like Superman, because it's
not going to be like the Lois and Clark, Terry Hatcher one.
But it's going to be probably something similar, because it's about their life outside of Metropolis, isn't it?
But it's about Clark's back on the farm, and just like a normal guy, and the kids don't believe that he's Superman
until he tells them, which is a bad move.
Until he lifts up the truck.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I think it would be good, because I quite like that guy. I can't remember what his name is, playing Superman. Although I would really, really love another Brandon Roth Superman movie, but let's get a good one. And I recently rewatched Superman Returns. Now, it's quite a solemn movie in itself.
That's the one with the beginning on the ship, isn't it? The boat at the beginning, isn't it?
It's the one where Superman's been missing for 5 years, and he comes back and he saves Lois from being on a plane that was about to crash.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. And it was supposed to be the sequel to Superman 4, so it was all supposed to be the same universe, but obviously with different actors, because obviously the tragedy that happened to Christopher Reeve and Margaret Kidder's, was way too old at that point anyway. But that was, to me, it was a very somber movie, and I think what made it worse was actually what they did with him in Infinity Crisis, because you know what they did with that version of Superman.
I need to rewatch some of that, because it's been such a long time now that we haven't had anything.
Yeah, they made him like it's like Lois died and his kids died, and everybody he was close to basically died. He was like a real tragedy of a character, but yet he still maintained, if I remember rightly, that sort of like Superman-esque thing. And it was
seemed weird watching him now, because he's done I know you may pop at it, but obviously the early days of Legends wasn't bad.
The early days of Legends was great. It was the last 2 seasons that's been awful.
Yeah, but
how that's got another season, God only knows.
No, I mean, I think off the back of Constantine being on it probably did help.
Really?
But I don't mind him. I could do with a Constantine show back, to be honest.
I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy him as a character
Did you ever watch Constantine, the TV show?
Yeah, I watched a couple of episodes. I could not get into it.
Well, being from up north, he'd have been right up your street, wouldn't it?
No. I think James Masters would have been a better actor to be in that role.
Or would you prefer to have Mr. Woodenchops back, who did the movie?
I actually didn't mind the Constantine movie.
I've got it on Blu-ray kicking around here somewhere.
I've got the Laserdisc of that. Not Laserdisc, the DVD of that. Yeah. I didn't mind him doing it at all. I didn't think it was the best vision of that character, but
it's all right. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But anyway. I think even Supergirl's got another season, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, one more. So again,
it's been tough, isn't it?
Again, you weren't listening to the show last week, were you?
It's all right, no. I was ill, mate. I've been ill.
Exactly. So you were laying on your deathbed.
No, I was doing work, believe it or not, at one point. But I've got so many podcasts to listen to on this phone of mine of what I regularly listen to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, some have petered out for a little bit because the Destiny podcast, the main guy does that. Is now his wife's had a baby, so he's now past mental on while he does that. But some other ones have got bits and pieces to watch. So I've not, because I've been at home a lot in February. I haven't been out other than one day.
Well, I mentioned in the last episode that the CW network has picked up a load of seasons for additional seasons.
Bring back Arrow.
Walker, All American, Batwoman, Charmed, Dynasty, The Flash, In the Dark, Legacies, Legend of Tomorrow, Nancy Drew, Riverdale, and Roswell. And
there's some that keep the missus happy then, because she watches Riverdale and Dynasty, so that'd be all right for her.
Yeah, 5 of them, Dynasty, The Flash, In the Dark, Legend, and Roswell, haven't even premiered this season yet.
No.
And the Superman and Lois, Kung Fu, and the Republic of Sarah, they're still yet to air, which is from the 23rd, so this month. And there's 2 additional episodes of Lois and Clark that have been ordered, so it's extending it from 13 to 15, as well as 5 more episodes of Walker, which takes it up to 18.
I wonder if they're going to have any sort of crossover early on to bridge the show into the universe.
I'm not sure that they're going to do a crossover this time, because it's complicated enough having all of the COVID restrictions on filming without then mixing it up with different crews and different shows.
Unless you're using the same crew to film the same shows, I don't know.
I just can't. It's still different. It's still more actors integrated with more actors. I don't think we're going to see a crossover. And I'm sure that there was an announcement to say that there wasn't going to be a crossover for a while.
I just wish there was Arrow back still, though, because that could have actually carried on.
Well, I know with his daughter. Yeah,
there's been talk that it may have actually come back. Stephen O'Neill could be Arrow still. Because if they get rid of one show, like Supergirl, they could then put that back in place.
Well, what they could say is that Oliver Queen was then found on the island again, but Queen rather. Oliver Queen was found on the island again, but it was just from another alternative universe where he was put on from that universe. They could explain him back in there, but he's probably since when you think about how it was when it first showed, he was like doing that, all that jumping up with the bar and
still
all
rods.
of that. Yeah, and I bet he wouldn't be able to do that now.
Yeah, I still see Kicks around on social media doing bits and bobs, advertising all sorts.
Yeah,
he's got a winery he's involved with at the minute as well.
Yeah, but I bet he wouldn't be able to do all of that stuff now because
because we was expecting the Green Lantern out of what's his name, weren't we? Which never materialised.
Well, isn't that supposed to be his mate?
Diggle, yeah, that was, but that never carried on as much as it was sort of teased at one point.
Well, maybe it's still in the offing somewhere. But the Green Lantern's one of those sort of characters that they stick the Green Lantern into an impossible situation every week, or in the comics, and then just invent another thing that the Ring can do. Do you know what I mean? There never seems to be a limit. It's like Superman. There's always an extra power or extra force he manages to get from somewhere. There's never a limit on it. Whereas I think characters like the Flash are a little bit more believable.
Yeah, no, that is such a good show. I do like that.
I like the Flash,
and I think they have been. I say, obviously, I've seen some some shots they've been filming.
And I'm quite sure that the new season was actually what they're doing for the whole season now. I reckon was supposed to be the end of the last season.
Thing is, because it's been so long, you need to watch the last episode of each.
He was running out of flash power. I think he was down to about a couple of % of his flash power left. The Flash Force or whatever it is that they call it, that has died, and his wife's stuck in the mirror universe. And is that
so? There was 5 episodes of season 7, and season 8. The first 2 episodes have not been announced what they are yet.
Yeah.
Or is season 7 the series we're going to see? No, that was 30th of March 2021. So
yeah, there was 5 episodes that they had left because it was a shorter season, and I reckon what they've done is cancelled those 5 and put them into season 8.
Well, they're actually sitting there with season 7 on the Internet Movie Database at the moment.
All right, okay.
Starting
that
with
can be
1%.
edited by anyone, so that doesn't.
All
really
Wells that ends Wells.
Yeah.
But I think it was
War of the Wells.
Yeah. So season 6, I think might have been the last one, because you had that woman with that gun, didn't you? Do you remember that could basically go through everything?
Well, she didn't have a gun. She could go.
It was a rifle though she was using. Do you remember? As like an assassin.
Yeah, that was part of that season.
Yeah, but season 7 has got 5 episodes there from the 2nd of March 2021 to the 30th. So who knows? That might still be a part of it if it's ones we haven't seen. So yeah, all's well that ends well, as they say. I do like that. But yeah,
do you know what? The other day I was walking along and I saw 3 holes in the ground full of water. I thought, well.
It's time we left now. Then that's good to say goodbye. I need to go get something to eat.
We haven't done the questions yet.
Oh God, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Should we move swiftly onto that, shall we?
Yeah, let's go on to the listener questions.
John, what's happening to us?
All right, so listener questions, and Steve can't see them, so I'm going to be ending up reading them this week.
And I'm having a coughing fit. So
Steve's recovering from a coughing fit. So Max starts us off as always with his first question: is what will be the next big innovation in gaming?
Xbox will finally bring out some sort of 3-dimensional visor that you can put on your head.
Oh, Xbox VR, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, several years late to the party there.
Just a bit. I don't think. Well, right now, I think we've gone as far as we can go.
I'm going to say that I hope that the innovation that these current gen consoles and future gen consoles have is a reverse of the anti-innovation that they've had in this generation, which is storage size.
Excuse me.
Because 1 terabyte just isn't enough. Who'd have thought we'd have said that 20 years ago?
I've actually got space still on mine.
I have, but I can imagine I'm going to run out.
Well, I can take a few games off probably, but I've got Skyrim on there at the minute, all cranked up, and a few other bits and pieces. But I think you'd be swapping out the Game Pass games anyway, so probably not. But innovations, I think, are going to slow down for a bit. And hopefully we will see a longer lasting console without keep bringing out another iteration of some kind.
Yeah.
The next iteration will be a 2 terabyte SSD installed, not a, you know what I mean, instead of 1.
Yeah, I'm talking about 10 or 20. Because games are going to get bigger. Let's face it, games are going to get bigger. And a 4K Blu-ray...
Oh, they're back now.
Storage. Okay. A 4K Blu-ray will store 100 gigabytes of information. So 10 of those, you're going to be full.
Yeah.
And that's compressed data as well. It gets uncompressed when it's on your machine. We know that there are games now that are 130, 140, 150 gig. So 1 terabyte, it's pathetic. Putting it mildly.
Oh, God, yeah.
So I'm hoping that's what the big innovation is.
Well, I think they need to bring down the price of those nice little snappy hard drives that you can plug in the back as well.
Oh, definitely. They need to be half of that and twice the storage. I think that what they need to do is, on PlayStation side, is enable the NVMe spare drive so that you can expand the storage from the 860
Oh, that imaginary slot that doesn't do anything.
Yeah. They need to get that re-enabled.
Yeah.
So, and I think we might already have had a hint from Xbox about what the future is going to be. And I think that will be a much simplified sort of route that the PC has, which will be swappable components.
No, it would be interesting if they could do that.
Well, why not? It's like if you've got, you can buy the Xbox Series X, 5800 or 6800 version, but you can upgrade if you want to as well.
Yeah, I don't know about that. There's a warranty issue there, I feel.
No, I don't think that there is, because PCs manage it anyway.
Oh, yeah, but the Xbox is built completely different to a PC.
Yeah, they would have to have a different build of the Xbox, but if they did it so that you just literally unplugged it, and let's face it, you look at the graphics card, there's the connector, but if everything else is sort of like boxed up enough, or like a graphics card, and it's just like a little trapdoor you open up, you pull one out, you push one in, which you could do technically, that would be a good innovation, and then that would mean that the longevity of consoles would last better as well.
Yeah, I think it's I'm just hoping for now we've got the consoles we want, and we're going to keep them for quite a while. I reckon Sony will might bring out another edition. I don't know.
PS5 Pro.
Yeah. But there's no need to, though, is there, really?
Not at the moment, because it's not the games.
No. And as it is, believe it or not, these consoles are still hard to get hold of.
Yeah. Well, I know somebody who's just managed to get one from John Lewis this week, and they could have immediately still sold it for £100 profit to CEX, because CEX are offering £100 more than John Lewis are selling them for, or were selling them for, because they've run out of stock.
Imagine a certain person we know had enough money to go and buy a load of them up.
Yeah, well, why not? I mean, I know that we say about scalpers, but at the end of the day, all it's doing is just being a capitalistic market.
Yeah,
it's supply and demand. And when you look at actual graphics cards costs now, on my PC, the 3080 I've got in there now, I've had a look, and some places are selling it for as high as, with bids on eBay, as £2,500. That's what I paid for the whole PC.
Actually, out of curiosity, it does. Is eBay? Excuse me. Are they still got scalpers on there? Do I just see someone at the door?
Sounded like you had.
It didn't it? Anyway. I can see one here for £550. Buy it now.
Well, I'm looking at one here, £1,789 for an RTX 3080 Founders Edition. Here's one, £1,300 with 12 bids on it for a Gigabyte GeForce 3080, which is the same one as I've got. That's £1,300.
Yeah.
It's a £600 graphics card. RRP price.
It's mental, isn't it?
It is. But that's because there's not the supply of them. Here's one, RTX EVGA GeForce RTX 3080, pre-owned, £2,379. It's
unreal.
It is absolutely unreal what some people are actually paying for graphics cards. And that's all because of the cryptocurrency market as well, buying them all up. There were ones on there that have just got loads and loads of bids on them, and they're crazy prices.
If people keep buying them, they're going to keep doing it, aren't they?
Of course they are. Supply and demand. There's been times when I've thought, well, I could put my 970 back into this PC here, or my 1080, taking out my son's PC because I gave him my old one, and then put the 970 in his, put the 1080 back in here, or into this one, and then sell my 3080 and get a massive profit. But I'm not going to, because I don't want to be without the technology.
No.
Anyway, so a few different things that we think there, but let's hope that the biggest innovation is reduction in price.
And they're out there actually in the wild. They're being built.
Yeah. Do you want to do Mark's next question?
Excuse me. When was your last long gaming session, and what game and how long? Excuse me.
My last one was Little Nightmares. It was last week, and it was about 3 hours, and I streamed it.
One was probably FIFA, probably because that was what I played last Sunday for a bit. I wasn't feeling great. Probably a couple of hours. I've not done a long.
I was going to say about 90 minutes, because you can't really get a football match much longer than that, can you?
Yeah, they're very short. But I was trying to build up my the level for picking up packs. But yeah, honestly, at the moment, I've not. Because I've been poorly, I've not been wanting to game. You think you've got all the time to do that when you're off, but I've just not been up for it. I've been watching movies because you don't have to actually think about it, yeah.
Well, yeah, and I know exactly what you mean, because there are some times when you just think, oh, I've got 3 hours to have a game. Everyone's gone to bed. Everything's fine. And you think, well, I can't be bothered.
Just haven't got the energy to do it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Do you want to, excuse me, do you want to read Richard Mortlock?
Richard. So Richard's got 2 questions. First one is, do you think that £70 or $70 is too much for Ratchet and Clank Standard Edition on the PS5? I personally think it's a terrible price when you compare to say, Little Nightmares 2 at £27 and the most expensive Oculus Quest game, which is only £30. For the first time ever, I'm not bothered about next gen, as I feel that these prices, especially at the moment, are disgusting.
Excuse me. Yeah, it's. I think it's crazy. We have. I don't know about the next game I'm going to purchase. It's probably going to be Mass Effect. That'd be my next game.
Yeah.
And when I look at that, if I can find it, actually there's 2. Actually, there's MLB The Show as well, which is a baseball game, which is normally on the PlayStation side of things. You see there, the Series X version is £60 for that one, and Mass Effect pre-order, because we're in Game Pass now, because EA is a part of Game Pass, we get 10% off. And that is currently at the minute at £53.99. Now, there obviously isn't straight off the back. And then if you compare that to something brand new that we're getting, that will be running on these consoles, we've got like The Village, the Resident Evil game. That is, there's one pre-order there. I don't know what that is. Oh, that's got the last Resident Evil game in it. But that's £65 still, which is ridiculous, isn't it?
They're way too expensive. Way too expensive. And also for Ratchet and Clank, which I might be wrong, but I think that was a cheaper game last gen anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm not, it's not one of those franchises that has really inspired me to pay that amount of money.
Well, MLB The Show has got they've got 4 versions of the game here. So we've got the first one, which is your standard console, which is $49.99. Then they steep up for the Series X at $59.99. Then one comes up at $74.99, and then the last one is $89.99. And do you know what I mean?
It's ridiculous.
But I don't know if it depends on the companies seeing how many people are buying the games and what ones they're buying, what versions, to notice that the prices need to come down. I don't think they will, unfortunately.
No, I
remember
don't.
Remember, this is not even disc versions here. We're on the Microsoft Store.
Yeah, digital versions. I mean, you look at the value that you're going to get out of Ratchet and Clank, which is probably going to be...
Is that that's going to be a one play?
Yeah, a one play. And Mass Effect, probably also one play, but you've got 3 remastered games in that, each one of which was about a 36-hour completion time.
And probably plus more than that
if you got all the DLC in as well. So you're probably looking at 140 hours in the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which will have all 3 in. What I'm glad that they seem to be doing about that is that Mass Effect Legendary Edition is episodes 1, 2, and 3 all together. They haven't remastered each one individually.
Yeah, so the Legendary Edition includes a single-player base game content and over 40 DLC from Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3 games, including promo weapons, armor packs, remastered, optimized for the Xbox Ultra HD.
Yeah, I think it was...
Yeah,
it was Mass Effect 2 that there was like the Shadow Broker or whatever it was, the DLC, and it went on forever. What I remember of it.
I've still got all the other games still, installable, ready to play.
Yeah, I have as well.
But I don't think actually Mass Effect 3 isn't Andromeda, remember, is it?
No,
that's not going to be in it.
No.
So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Richard asks another part of the question as well. He says, also, why is it £70 in the $70 in the US and £70 here? I'm sorry, but that's just being greedy. Whenever this happens, it's instantly a no buy for me. As of the 19th of February, $70 is £50 in the US to the UK exchange rate. So we basically get charged £20 more for the game. No sales, Sony.
I'm not going to cough up Brexit here, but I don't think that's anything to do with it. I could lie, but we've always had that. Back in the day, if you were going to fly to say New York or somewhere in America, you'd get a good deal on the pound.
Well, look at the Xbox storage. That's $229 in America and £229 in England.
Yeah. It's always been pound for a dollar, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's always been like that, to be
And I'm
honest.
sorry, but it just doesn't cost that much to send it over in a big crate with hundreds and hundreds of other ones. If it does, send them all individually by parcel force because they get it across cheaper.
Yeah. You see, if you were to say to someone, can you pick this up for me? And I will give you the exchange rate. It'd be fine, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But again, there's tax involved there. There's getting it through the country. And also you might end up with import tax as well on top of that. But if you try to do that, but obviously you're purchasing something in this side of things, you know.
But if you're a company dishing over stuff for distribution in another country, you're not paying the same sort of taxes. Because what you're talking about is end sales taxes, not anything else.
No. But yeah, it's difficult, isn't it?
It is. Do you want to do Scott's question?
Okay, so Scott Kidd, what is the most silly conspiracy you've heard about COVID, i.e. the big rest of the fourth industry revolution and 4G? I was walking the dog with Mrs. the other day, and there was two old people, bless them, who had their masks on. We sort of took a distance apart when they came past us. It should have, all this 4G is giving us all this COVID, they're going. Oh.
Well, it's not even 4G, it's 5G. And it's
5G, I do apologise. Yeah, 5G. I think that's a load of tosh.
It is because it operates at higher frequency than 4G, and there's reckoning that it'll boil your brain and stuff like that. I've heard, suggestions that it's a way of the government collecting everybody's DNA. I've heard things of it's part of a conspiracy with aliens to re-impregnate another planet.
Anal probe.
Yeah. And you give the anal probe single to everybody who's coming out with these sort of things because it's a virus that has happened. I think it's more interesting to think about, the ones that are more interesting is how it's happened, if it's been deliberate or accidental, or if there was like that sort of Tom Cruise Mission Impossible that ended up being impossible.
And fallout.
Yeah, and the fallout from that. So,
excuse me.
I think that's much more of an interesting sort of theory to look at rather than anything else. But I think that, to be honest, it's one of those things of it's happened, and these things evolve over time.
Yeah. It's. I'm not going to go into sort of the religious side of things. Is it a cleansing? It could be. Oh no, I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you believe in all of that sort of like that, like creationism sort of stuff, I'm sure that there will be people who out there will be saying that, this is like the coming plague to wipe out so many people, but it's not wiping out enough in terms of like a biblical proportion,
No.
When you look at, like Noah, it was like his family and two of every animal. That's not like the tragic hundreds of thousands of people who have died, or the millions of people who have died across the world, but it's only still a very, very small proportion of the human race. It's just something that's happened, and all of this about not getting your vaccine and stuff like that. Yeah, that's just so stupid. Very stupid. But
Absolutely.
People will do what they want to do, won't they? Anyway, let's go to Paul Wilson's question. He says, why is it that video game volume settings are set to 100% for all audio settings by default? I find it totally annoying when you set music, voice, and SFX to 100%, as they tend to drown each other out. I'm going to say, I know what you mean, but I think I slightly disagree with you, because what I've found in most games is normally the game volumes are set to 100%, but the volumes themselves have been balanced so that they are all equally audible. What do you think, Steve?
I've not noticed it, to be honest. When you do I'm normally doing your graphic settings when you first boot up a game, aren't you?
Yeah. And
I think, when I'm doing a racing game, I normally sometimes take the music off because I like to hear the engine of the cars.
Yeah.
But then they all set to 100%, which is probably what they're optimized for. So could be not. It's another conspiracy theory for you then, whether they do that. But I think everything sounds perfectly fine at that level. Other than that, you've got a volume button on your hand, haven't you? You turn it down. Yeah. So, and I'd say I think sometimes you might tweak it for a Grand Theft Auto game. You might want to hear more from the radio side of things. So for that sort of audio compared to the speech. But yeah, good thought there. But I'm not too sure. Yeah. Do you want to take the last one? Because I think we don't need to even talk about it, do we?
Well, Justin Lee, he's asking about what our opinions are about the internet drama starring Gina Carano being sacked as Cara Dune from The Mandalorian. Seems like there's been quite a bit of backlash against Disney over this. Do you think it's wrong for her to be fired for comments which seem to have been taken wildly out of context? Yeah and no. Disney is a company that is known for being protective of its IP.
Yeah, but then again, it's all BS, isn't it? A lot of this.
I think it's been stuff that's been taken out. I mean, I haven't been keeping up on it, as I said.
No, it's these days now. I walk away from it all.
Yeah.
I don't want to get involved. I keep my thoughts to myself because I don't want to get myself in trouble, because I think these days social media can land you in hot water in all different ways, from bullying to whatever,
bullying, harassment, trolling.
You've just got to respect what social media is there for. And most of the people that I know on there, they all have a good laugh with it. So, and that's what it's about.
Well, I mean, I was on a Facebook group, just to give you an example, and somebody had posted the picture of their new PC build that they'd ordered.
I saw that. Is that the one on the little table? And he said, "Would you rate my setup?" And it was really tiny. And...
No. This was a specific PC group.
Okay.
And I'm not going to name the group or anything like that.
No.
I don't want to do that. But this person had bought this PC, and it had 9, multicolored fans in it. I mean, I like my RGB as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna comment on that. But they'd said about what spec that they'd done, and
did he get ribbed?
No. I said, I made the comment, which I said, I think it looks really good. I like the RGB setup. Maybe a little bit too few fans for my liking, although I think I'm only about 3 behind him. And I said, but the one thing I do think is that I would have gone with a stronger processor given the graphics card. And I had this guy immediately.
There's always one, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, so what do you think of this spec and setup? That was the question. And I just said, personally, if you're having that graphics card, I would have gone with a stronger processor. Yeah, that's just a personal opinion. Because I think that they'd gone for a Ryzen 5, and I said I would have gone for an i5, and I said I would have gone for an i7. And there was this person who immediately came back to us, not the person who posted the thing, but somebody else. And I was, because they also had the Kraken AIO that I had on my previous build, the one with the little screen on. And I was saying, that's a fantastic, AIO. It looks really good. It'll really complement your system. So I wasn't, I was just being literally, taking that person at the word that they wanted a critique of what people thought, and I just passed my opinion on it. This other guy who was not part of that conversation came in, said, "You don't know what you're on about. There is no problem with the i5 and the 3800 for bottlenecking, blah blah blah." Clearly, they don't know what they're talking about, because I can point him to several websites that actually point out where the i5 does bottleneck with the 3080 at about 10%. So, like GTA 5 and stuff like that. So, but I'm not going to, I thought, I looked at it and I thought, do you know what? I can't be bothered. And I just left the group. I deleted my post and I just left. I thought, I can't be bothered with it anymore. I think social media has gone so stupid. This guy asked for people's opinion, and then somebody else immediately jumping down everybody's throat if they said something different. It wasn't even the guy who actually put the post on. It was just some little trumped up, keyboard warrior who probably wouldn't say boo to a goose in real life. And I just thought, I don't need it. I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered about the group. I'm not bothered about anything that they have to say. I'll just leave. and I just left. I thought that was the better part of Valor.
Well, I think some groups, there's always one that will say, well, I know this. And, you think, oh, God, go on, whatever.
Yeah, but also it depends as well on what you're actually using the PC for. Because you're assuming that the person's bought the PC for games, and like most games,
you might have bought it to play solitaire only, and that'd be it.
Yeah, in which case, an i3 or a dual, or a Celeron might have been just as good. The 3080 might have been a complete and utter whatever, but it's all opinion, and it all depends upon what you want to do. And also, if you want to stream while you play, you want more cores. So therefore, you don't want 6 cores, you want 8 or 12 cores. And it all depends upon what you're doing with the machine. It depends upon what sort of spec that you want. And I just thought, I can't be bothered. I know from the research that I did previously where the bottlenecks are, and I decided to eliminate as much as I can by going as best as I can.
Yeah,
and not only that, it's about the games now, not the games next year.
I was on a group, and someone put there. He posted up his setup, and it wasn't great. Bless him. I mean, I didn't rib him at all. I said, first setup, whatever. But people started to just rip into him because it wasn't much. But that might have been the first time he'd done it. Give him give the kid the benefit of the doubt. Do you know what I mean?
But the average PC user isn't massive. The average PC user, yes, is on an i7, but probably from about 6 years ago.
This was on an Xbox one, though. Do you know what I mean? With this,
okay.
But it is what it is.
Sometimes you can be in a group and you can have a good discussion about stuff. I mean, it's like, I know that we get a bit of ribbon sometimes, but I think in our group we get decent enough discussions. And I'm not a PC expert.
No, I mean, I don't know. I know we've all been ribbed on Xbox Live back in the day at some point.
Oh, God. Yeah.
With some idiots if you jumped in some randoms. But you know what? If I do Destiny and that, it's never been a problem for that sort of game. And some of the Facebook groups I'm in, they're pretty okay. But there's every time any group you're on, there's always going to be one person that thinks he knows more than you.
Oh yeah.
And you're just go on, you crack on, mate. I'm gonna put my phone down, let you get on with it.
Well, the groups that I'm in, if I post something and I see that a response, I think, oh yeah, I know why you've replied. You get those people who do troll you sometimes. Fortunately, it's not very often, but it's part of social media.
Yeah.
I always like to think about the billboard test in terms of social media. Would you mind it being put up on a billboard in the middle of your home village, what you're posting online, and for everybody that you know to see? If it passes that test, that should be okay to put on. Not always perfect, and I have to admit I don't always stick to it, like everybody else doesn't. But because sometimes, while you try the best part of Valor, sometimes it gets under your skin, doesn't it?
It can do if it gets to you, but you've got to try and, I actually, to be honest now, Facebook, I post less and less these days, more compared to Twitter, where I know at least I've got a good steady bunch of guys that you can have a chat with, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's not a problem. But I think, there are still idiots out there. But I think out of all of them, I think Twitter's the most that's actually patrolled pretty good on reporting.
Yeah. I think Twitter is a better environment for posting stuff than Facebook. Facebook, you get the groups which are clicks.
Yeah. And even though, as I say, we've had a lot of racism and stuff like that, where you were talking about footballers, and this is on Twitter, well, you do that, you're in for a world of hurt, because people have been prosecuted all the time for that, and it's a big problem. But there are idiots. The people that are doing it are idiots at the end of the day.
Yeah,
and they don't realise what they're opening a can of worms, and once it's out there, you can't retract it. You'd be lucky if you can.
And I think it's whether or not they're doing it as a wind up. I don't think that they realise the impact it has on people. Either the person that they're targeting, bullying as I used to know it as a kid at school was awful. Yeah. Now that still goes on today, and to the detriment of those bastards that do that, they leave a trail of devastation, because these days teenagers, it does hurt, and they bottle it up, and it can be
catastrophic on what the outcome can be to that teenager.
Well,
these days.
it can build up to be psychological problems as an adult.
But I'm talking even more worse than that. I'm talking suicide, and
that's what I'm talking about.
Do you know what I mean? It's just dreadful. And yeah, I don't know.
And I was thinking in terms of that, and we've all had our times where we've been down, and we've found it difficult to cope. And the thing that's always kept me going, even before I was married and stuff like that, is just saying to myself, this is a transitory stage and I will get through it and then it will be better. Because invariably at some point things will change. You might need to go for help, and there's lots of help you people could go out for, Samaritans, or if you're a kid, Childline, or your local authority to get help that way. There's loads of places that people can go and outreach for help. And I think sometimes it's having the courage for people to do that, because that's a big step, because that's acknowledging you've got a problem. Absolutely.
And I think we see it. I think there's more that we don't hear about because it doesn't reach us.
Yeah.
But it is, it's a big problem.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, people who are isolated and have been isolated for months and months because of COVID and how they're coping, and unfortunately there's volunteers that are helping people like that, but are they getting to all of the people, the people who are hidden?
Sometimes it's too late as well. Families don't realise what's going on in the background. They left their daughter or boy upstairs on a laptop, and it's not until too late that they find out after reading what's been on the laptop, but they've done something to get away from it. And
it's not only that, it could also be who they've been talking to and how they've been exploited.
Well, that's it. Yeah, there is much more awareness of it, and I hope that it improves. But yeah.
Well, I work, that's what we try and do, is raise awareness for
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
And on our website for where I work, safeguardedchildren.co.uk, we've posted stuff about things for guides for parents who are not technically minded but need to be able to protect
Monitor.
the kids.
Yeah.
So the world's awful but also wonderful. And some people live in what seems to be a parallel universe to what other people do, all in the same place. It could be next door neighbours, could be living in the same house even.
True.
True. Anyway, very depressing sort of notes. Let's sort of cheer it up. Steve, do you want to give your sign off then and your contacts?
So yeah, Twitter at Steve07. My PSN ID is the real Steve07. Xbox is Steve07. Instagram, I think, is Steve0764. Also, I think my YouTube channel is just Steve07, but you'll notice it because it'll have the Pop Culture Gamers logo in the background. And then Haydn is...
Well, I'm HERJ UK on everything: Twitter, PSN, Xbox Live, Steam, you name it, apart from on Epic Games, in which case I'm Pop Culture Gamers. Also, you can follow the podcast on Twitter at Pop Culture Gamer. We've got a Facebook group, we've got a Facebook page. You can visit both of those. You can also email the podcast at podcast@popculturegamers.co.uk. And of course, don't forget that we also have our website, which is anchor.fm/popculturegamers. And that's it for another week. We hope you've enjoyed the show. We'll be back next week, and hopefully COVID and life, the universe and everything permitting.
Oh God, yeah.
And with that, it's a good night from me
and a good night from him.
Good night.
Good night.